Captain Peter Cutts in South Korea. This is my briefing room. The level of flight level 200, and we are approximately 90 nautical miles from the top of the descent. So we're going to get ourselves organized with the descent check, or I should say a descent procedure, and then an approach procedure followed by the descent and approach checklists, which are normally done together. The descent procedure must be done really before you approach transition level, and the approach procedure should be done before, it'll be below 10,000 feet, but before you actually arrive at the initial approach decks, or if you're on vectors, or at the beginning of a visual approach. Those are good triggers for the approach procedure. Then the descent and approach checklists would be done one after the other together, normally. All right, so before we go any further, let's go to the descent forecast page. And put in the descent winds. And we have them off the flight plan. We have two that would be applicable. 18, flight level 180, and actually three. 2000 and 5000. These are off of the flight plan. And we'll put them in. And then execute that, and before we executed, of course, we would have got the pilot monitoring to approve any executions, and that will actually create a more accurate top of descent, so that we're not affected by the winds. We've been given direct blue dot, which is not common for going into Dubai, but for the sake of this procedure, we are going to be number one, direct to blue dot. And something that you want to do is go to the progress page. And let's just have a quick look at that. So there is our distance to touchdown and our time and our fuel on board on touchdown. So we're 156 nautical miles. And and there's the top of descent at 80 nautical miles. So that's 76 nautical miles from touchdown would be our descent. And that's just about right. 3 times your altitude plus 10 for a straight in is absolutely perfect. That's a quick little formula under normal wind. So we're all organized for that. Let's do a descent procedure, and we want to make sure the AMP is correct for our mode of operation here and our position. So we'll check the AMP against the RMP. RMP is 1.0, AMP is 0.02. Center tank fuel, we don't have any, so center tank fuel management, these pumps are off. And the landing altitude has been set. Let's just confirm that. We'll go up and have a look at it. Pardon me for the comforts of moving around the software. But that this would all happen very quickly, of course, in the aircraft itself. But we preset the Dubai airport elevation 62 feet, so we'll check the next up to the 100. That checks. Well, remember when we talked about the descent procedure before, we talked about remembering things in groups of threes, and in PowerPoint what's associated with this MP4, you can see all of that. So we have 10 things to do in the descent procedure. 3 groups of threes and then 1. The 1 is the briefing. So we've done the first group of threes. Now the next group of threes is to go over and make sure we get the recall and check all lights, and there's nothing outstanding, and then make sure that the minimum has been set, or we just had a look at our approach chart, and you would be doing that electronically or whatever. There is the approach minimum of 260, and it's on the barometric bug. So let's just go and set that on the baro bug. That is set, and then we'll go and check the number 6 items, the second last one in the group of 3s. We want to set VREF to flap certain. So we will go to the approach page, and set VREF 30 has been set, and now in the next group of 3s, we want to go down and make sure that we listen to the HS, by the way. The approaches in use are the ILS for runway 0 or 30 left. So we've set the approach frequency at 111.3 for the ILS, 111.3, and then come up and set the courses, 299. Set, and now we go into the performance for the aircraft. We'll have a look at the OPT, and for our landing weight of 53,900, and that's kilos, so that's the landing weight, that is correct. And for our landing weight, and with the rate selection of 2, we use 2,313 meters. So you want to remember to convert this to feet if your approach chart that you're using is in fact in feet. If you're using NATO, more than likely it's meters, and if you're using Dickinson, the reference for the runway availability is feet. So this particular OPT, we're using kilos here. In any case, for a great selection of 2, the runway is dry, that's 2313 meters, the runway 30 left looks good. So that has been done, so up to the auto brake selection, and we can select 2. So the only remaining item in the descent check is the briefing. So let's say I'm the pilot flying towards my first option, you have control and you have the radios. And then we'll get the charts out, whether they be electronic or paper, whatever, and make sure that you read off the applicable. Get rid of that. All right, so this will be an ILS to runway 30 left in Dubai, and see that without. There we go. And there. Now we're cooking. All right. And the chart is dated, I should say, from 11-3 chart, and the first household will be following through, or the pot of money, I should say, to make sure we get the GRB, I should say. 16th of March, 2018, effective 29th month. And after conferring with pot of monitoring, we both have the same charts. The ages 126.275, the vision 2, talking the ages, the localizer 111.3, we've already set 11.3, 111.3, forces 299, 299, and as we're saying it, we'll be pointing to it, and the precision 260 on the bare knuckle altimeter set, we'll be pointing to it to make sure it's correct. In the highest sector altitude from the east-southeast is 3,000 feet, and the initial, I should say, set goal at 2,000, notice at 3,000, and the minimum is 360 on the bare minimum. Probably approaching minimum and at minimum, which time, or I should say 100 above and approaching minimum, at which time I'll call continue or go around. In the event of a go around, I will call go around, set go around, plus the pressing program ensuring the FNA auto throttle is correct. The aircraft is up forward 15 degrees and the thrust is set, then call flaps 15. Positive rate call from pilot monitoring, and after confirming the positive rate, I call it. And then go ahead and of course make sure the missed approach up to the 3,000 feet set, and the missed approach time direct to Delta Bravo 707, then on track of 284, ignite and hold at 3,000. And that would be checked definitely on the legs page, and we'll go to that now and make sure that we have it. And a good way to go to the last page first is to go to previous. So if you go to the previous page, you can actually go backwards, and then because there are several waypoints, and see after runway 30 left, Delta Bravo 717 is correct, and the speed, maximum speed 210 knots or below, that was on the chart, and then to 3,000 feet, ignite and hold right at ignite at 3,000 feet. So what we have in the database actually is synchronized with the current chart that we've read. So having said that, any questions? So you would ask the pilot monitoring if he had any questions, and if they didn't, then we would go ahead and press lower here now because the top of the set is coming up. So we'll say we're clear to maintain 7,000 feet. And a QNH of 1013. That's an unrestricted consent. And there's the proper consent, and we are in VNAV. And we're in VNAV path, and that's important to get. 7,000 feet set, set. So now the call would be descent. Check this because we had time to do it. I'm going to stop this video, and we will come back to this spot for the beginning of the descent itself, and then we will do the approach procedure later on as we get closer to the runway. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your flying, stay passionate, stay professional. Contact information is on the screen if you want access to all this good stuff. It's in Google Drive, over 100 briefings.